Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. On the agenda tonight, we have something that is interesting on many levels, and I have been inundated to take a look at this very recent release by Barry Manilow. And to fill non-viewers in on the situation, I did a video on Barry Manilow quite recently where I was asked to take a look at different performances because there are particular legacy artists out there who might be using backing tracks live, and I've been asked to look into all that kind of stuff and, you know, lip syncing, miming. But I pointed out that Barry was performing fully live at these different shows, and he had a fully live vocal. They're all different. We went through the analysis, and he's now released this song. And I think the reason that I've been contacted so much about this is maybe from that ironic perspective of me pointing out that he was singing fully live and fully unaided. He wasn't using auto-tune. He wasn't using anything like that. And this is his song, which is called Once Before I Go. And we're going to jump into it. So as always, the link to this original video is in the description below if you just want to listen to the song without the analysis and without me interrupting it. But I have isolated Barry's vocal, run it through the pitch monitoring software, and we will have a listen to what's going on.
Once before I go, I want you to know that I would do it all again. I'm sure we'd make the same mistakes.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in here because we are undoubtedly calibrated to A440 here. This vocal is tuned. Not only is it tuned, it is heavily tuned. This has been applied really heavy-handedly. We've still got the vibrato in there. So, of course, this is a pitch correction thing, a melodyne thing of snapping Barry's voice to these finite values of A440. And this is why it sounds weird.
Oh, I want you to know that I would do it all again.
Now, what gets me is you can check the link in the description below. This is absolutely an official release. And the reason that I say that it's an official release is because of this, where we've got what is, for all intents and purposes, an auto-tune flip, where the auto-tune doesn't know which note it's supposed to be at, so it flips it to another note which is incorrect. So here,
all again.
Here, undoubtedly it tried to get it to the G3 just for this split second, and that is because of Barry's wide vibrato. So I'm just going to take this back a little bit, listen to it, and it just very much sounds like a flip.
All again.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound human at all. Slow motion.
Yeah.
Yes, so the auto-tune just grabbed it and put it up to the G3. And now, this is why I'm saying that it's an official release, because I can't believe that other people can't hear this, because this would have been recorded in a studio. And it means that they would have had this raw vocal. They would have had the dry vocal. And they would have been able to single out that track, have melodyne, or if they have just applied a default auto-tune, that'd just be really lazy. I don't think that would happen. And if Barry found out that somebody was doing that, they were literally just double-clicking his voice. Not even that, actually. Just saying to a processor, just apply tuning to this vocal, and just leaving it alone. That's when you get this kind of thing. This shouldn't be happening with a producer who is producing this song and manually listening to it. That's something that everyone should be doing. Even when you've applied tuning, every producer should be listening to that vocal isolated and just the dry track with the tuning applied. Listen to it from beginning to end and see if anything sticks out as sounding weird and incorrect and inhuman. Or unhuman, but, or, I mean, this is inhumane, but anything that's been applied like this is why it's so surprising, especially for somebody like Barry Manilow, to have something like this on one of his official releases, something that you should spot at the production level.
I'm sure we'd make the same mistakes, but we could make it through the pains and joys and aches we knew back then. Now when I look back,
I mean, these little run-ups, and I don't think this is something that is being done artistically to make a statement. I mean, there's no reason, especially saying once before I go. Why would you make potentially the last song you're going to release so, I don't know, contradictory to the rest of your career, but also your live performances? Barry doesn't use auto-tune live, so why is it being applied in the studio? I really do wonder if he has any knowledge this is going on. He probably just records it in the studio, and then the producers do what they've done, and then it gets released.
I still have...
Or they could say, oh no, what we've applied to it is to make it sound current and to make it sound modern, because this is what happens. Pitch correction is an industry standard. Auto-tune isn't an industry standard, and this sounds auto-tuned. So I think they've kind of missed the mark here with trying to make it sound modern. They've made it sound like 1998 with, Believe by Cher. That's what this it sounds more like that. It represents that kind of sound, an auto-tune sound, rather than a subtle pitch correction. Let's listen on.
No regrets.
And there, again, is trying to just snap it to the A sharp 3.
And it's so hard to say goodbyes.
Listen to that flip, perfectly B3, and then C sharp 4. Yeah, I don't really buy this argument of saying, oh, it makes it sound modern. For me, it just makes it sound weird. It makes it sound manipulated, and it makes it sound contrived, because it's not a natural vocal.
Hard to say goodbyes.
It kind of sounds a bit like, if R2-D2 was to release a single.
When there's so much that's left unspoken in your eyes.
Yeah. I mean, with everything being released nowadays, I'm not surprised that it's been tuned. I'm just surprised at how much it's been tuned and how it's just literally been double clicked. Like on Melodyne, you just double click it and it'll just snap it to A440 like this. It just makes it sound amazingly bad with the tuning. And here,
as I spread my wings again, I'm afraid I'll never soar. So hang on to the memories and hold me close once more. Once more, just once before I go. I want you to know that I have loved you all along, and even when we're far apart, I only need to feel you're living in my...
I mean, what makes it sound probably a bit weirder is Barry's vibrato that's in there, because his vibrato is so wide and covers so much pitch, it has to be given freedom. Because if you were to try and, this is why I think it's just really bad pitch correction that they've made sound like auto-tune, if you gave it to auto-tune, it would be trying to snap his vibrato to all of these different notes that it covers. So you've got really strict tuning, wide vibrato that's free. Really strict tuning, wide vibrato that's free. And it's this constant contradiction that you've got. Like, natural, ridiculously tuned. Natural, ridiculously tuned. And your ear will pick that up. It can tell there's something we're flipping between two extremes here.
Heart and
That kind of thing there.
my heart, and I'll be strong.
Because look at the way that we're flowing with this vibrato, and the peaks are inconsistent. So it's got that inconsistency to then absolute finite value to then inconsistency. And by the way, great voices are inconsistent with their pitch that they cover, and even with vibrato. Here, it's pretty much solid with this nice even flow, and the variation in pitch isn't extreme. You're not going to get that with great singers, with kind of the peak of the trough of these vocal pitch lines. It's going to be really consistent. But when you then pair that with a finite value that doesn't have freedom, it's going to sound weird.
Love you just the way I've loved you all along.
I mean, listen to that. Because somebody in the studio must have given this the okay.
I've loved you all along.
And I know it's not going to be just me that is listening to this thinking, how has this been released in this state?
But it's so hard to say goodbyes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say other than, if Barry Manilow, and I've said this in the past about multiple artists who have released something that's just been really overly tuned. If Barry Manilow wants me to redo his actual vocal for this recording, then I will do. I'm happy to do that, because there's no way. I've heard him singing live recently. In that analysis video that we did, I looked at multiple performances, and he doesn't sound like this. He sounds a million times better than this. He's got more expression. But this has just eliminated everything that's great about his voice.
When there's so much that's left unspoken in your eyes. But unless I spread my wings again, I'm afraid I'll never soar. So kiss me for the last time and hold me close once more. Once more, just once before I go.
Well, this is weird. It's kind of getting worse as we go along.
I want you to know that I have loved you all along.
There we go. As he descended there, that would have been a natural coming down of his voice to, not here, the D sharp 4 perfectly over, but that's where it's been placed. It tried to snap him to the E4.
Love you all.
So it went, no, is kind of trying to grab that note in there. But of course, that note wasn't in there.
Long, and even when we're far apart, I only need to feel you're living in my heart, and I'll be strong. You are the light that shines on me.
I mean, I'm only really listening to this, like, just a lot at a time, to take it in, to take in this vocal.
You always were, and you'll always be. So I had to let you know, just this once before I go.
And there we have it. So, I mean, there's not too much to say about this. I don't know, some people might love this new sound of Barry Manilow. And I know that some people can't hear tuning and they might think it sounds great. But for ears sensitive to A440, yeah, I'm just amazed that it's gone this far with the tuning and how heavily it's been applied. And this is the other side of it that I don't know. Like, I can't speak for musicians and singers who have been edited heavily from a pitch perspective. I can't speak for how good their ears are or how accurately they can hear things, because they might not even be able to hear that their voice has been tuned. They might not know that their voice doesn't sound like that. So yeah, it's very difficult that you think, well, surely Barry's listened to this and he's accepted that this is what they've done and that this is apparently what his voice sounds like. I know it most certainly doesn't sound like this. And yeah, I think, especially for a song that's called Once Before I Go, try to give something that is, I don't know, representative of the career and the voice. And even better, showing the voice where it is now, given that career. Because it is a journey. Hearing somebody's voice from when they start out in the industry to then when they might be retiring, that is their journey, and you can hear the progression in their voice and the way that it changes. But for me, I think that if you are editing or you feel like you've got to edit from a pitch perspective the voice of Barry Manilow, you've got to do it within the context of his career and his voice and where his voice is now live, so that it is reflective of his voice, and edit that pitch or edit that vocal within those parameters, within that bracket of Barry Manilow, so that you're not just taking it and saying, right, I'm going to do to Barry's voice what Cher did in 1998 and just apply that blueprint, because they're totally different artists. You've got to be, I don't know, again, this is just me, my own personal belief, is that you have got to be true to the artist that you are working with, that you are producing. You don't just apply what you want to do as a producer, saying, right, yeah, auto-tune, click, 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 there we go, finished. It's like applying your skills as a producer for the benefit of the artist and to complement the artist and their sound and their artistic vision, everything that they want to be as an artist. And it's very much like a session musician, and a great session musician who will play in a band and they will play what they're asked to play, and if they're asked to extemporize, they will extemporize for the benefit of the song and the artist. They won't go off and try and show off all of their skills and all the things that they've worked on for years and years that's totally out of context with the artist that they're performing for or the composition that they're playing. They play within the constraints of the artistry of the person that they're working for, that they're being employed by. And in this case, the producers are most certainly working for Barry Manilow and the record label. So that's why I think that it should be reflective of Barry Manilow as an artist. And for me, this is why it's so surprising and a bit shocking that it just has been applied so heavily like this. It's just a blanket application of tuning to A440, and it is by far the most severe application I've seen, probably since doing analysis videos, especially when we're talking about an official release like this. Anyway, thank you guys for all of the messages to take a look at this particular song. Keep those requests coming to requests@wingsofpegasus.com. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Rock!